This man filed a case, but your case is closed, and you won't believe the reason. Archangel Michael says, there's a chilling reason your case has been closed, and what's happening behind the scenes will shake you to your very soul. The man who filed it knew what he was doing, but what he didn't expect is how fast everything unraveled behind his back. Someone high above made a decision you were never meant to hear about, and now, your name has been removed from the spotlight, but not for the reason you think. At first, you may have felt abandoned, left out, betrayed by the very system you hoped would bring you peace. But what if I told you your case didn't just vanish, it was buried intentionally, strategically, and permanently? The man who pointed fingers at you never anticipated that his own secrets would be dug out in the process. This isn't just about a document filed or a hearing scheduled. This is about a network of eyes watching both you and him, waiting for a single misstep. He thought the law was in his hands, but what truly happened was orchestrated far beyond his reach. Type Amen to get blessing 333. You were supposed to be the victim in this scenario. But suddenly, without warning, everything flipped. The very person who tried to ruin you walked straight into his own trap. Archangel Michael says, his intentions were not just legal, they were personal, bitter, and soaked in years of resentment. But something he underestimated is the divine intervention moving silently through people's hands. Right before the case was supposed to reach trial, a confidential file surfaced, one that didn't concern you but him. That one file changed everything. It exposed him, not in loud words, but in coded reports and quiet testimony. He never knew the people he trusted would whisper the truth into the right ears. His past misdeeds, which had remained hidden for years, suddenly stood in the light. The authorities that once seemed ready to act against you, turned their eyes on him. And within hours, the entire direction of the case shifted. Type Amen to get blessing 891. No loud announcement was made. No celebration, no notice, not even a letter in your mailbox. Because when the powerful fall, it often happens in complete silence. You began noticing the tension shift. Less messages from those accusing you. More confusion in their eyes when they tried to confront you. He was silenced, not by fear, but by facts. His voice grew smaller each day. Because those who used to stand by him vanished when his lies were exposed. Archangel Michael says, you were saved by timing, by grace, and by a force far beyond the courtroom. Because a higher authority ruled on your behalf before the judge could even speak. There are people in this world who wear suits by day but kneel in secrecy when darkness is near. Type Amen to get blessing 224. They saw your truth even when you were silent. They studied your energy, your intent, and your past. And in doing so, they knew who the true manipulator was. This man who filed the case wasn't just wrong, he was wickedly strategic. He wanted to frame you for something you never did. He hoped to erase your voice and paint his wounds onto your character. But the whispers that traveled through your bloodline protected you. Ancestors, guardians, watchers, they activated when they saw the scale tip. You may have felt alone, but you were never unprotected. When you walked into that office, unaware of what had shifted, people watched you with respect in their eyes and a secret in their minds. They knew, but couldn't tell you. Type Amen to get blessing 715. The reason your case closed wasn't because they forgot you. It's because you were freed, without your consent, yes, but for your protection. The system couldn't afford to tell you how close you were to danger. This wasn't just legal, it was a test of your patience. A challenge to your soul's ability to hold its own in a storm of lies. And you passed, not by fighting, but by standing still. Archangel Michael says, the man who filed the case is being watched now. Not by you, not by law enforcement, but by eyes higher than any court. And the next file being opened won't carry your name, it will be his confession. Your name has been wiped clean in rooms you never entered. Your energy has been cleared where evidence once tried to stain you. And the people who spoke against you, they now speak in fear. Type Amen to get blessing 362. Because the truth has returned to you, and no one can strip that light anymore. The fear you once felt has transformed into silent strength. The darkness that hovered around you now walks behind you in chains. You were framed for something you didn't do. But now the world knows the truth, and it terrifies the one who accused you. He didn't just lose the case, he lost his image, his access, and his power. The man who tried to bury you is now burying his own peace. Every night, he wonders if the next knock on the door is for him. Every morning, he checks his phone, praying nothing has leaked. Type Amen to get blessing 900. But nothing can undo what's already unfolding. The law may have closed your case, but the heavens have opened theirs on him. And justice, real justice, moves silently, yet strikes powerfully. You don't need revenge. You don't need confrontation. Because truth has already spoken, and the silence now speaks louder than any scream. Archangel Michael says, this message didn't come to warn you, it came to free you. Because the chapter you feared was the end is actually the beginning of your light. You will rise now, not because someone gave you permission, but because it is already written. You were not meant to be trapped by this man's lies. You were meant to witness his fall, not his success. And now, the moment has arrived where the world begins to see your worth again. Type Amen to get blessing 467. He wanted to control your narrative. But you, unknowingly, controlled the outcome by staying true. The divine forces shifted timelines just to protect your name. He may have filed the case with confidence. But he underestimated the light that surrounds you when you walk. That light exposed him, dismantled his plans, and closed the case in your favor. Let this be the day you walk without guilt. Let this be the night you sleep without fear. Because the man who tried to destroy you now fears your silence. Type Amen to get blessing 556. This isn't just a moment, this is your resurrection. You're stepping into the season of reward, not because of luck, but because of truth. You stood tall when it was easier to run, and now the universe stands behind you. Archangel Michael says, the next message you receive will be about your new beginnings. You've completed a painful cycle that was meant to teach, not punish. And from this point on, you will not be treated as guilty, but as chosen. Someone is watching your name rise again. Someone who once doubted you is now unable to look into your eyes. Because the power in you is no longer hidden. Type Amen to get blessing 603. Let him watch. Let them all watch. Because the person they tried to bury has already bloomed. The case is closed. Not because you lost, but because you were never meant to fight that battle alone. And the final word has been written, free. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. The energy around you is shifting rapidly. This isn't just a small breakthrough, this is divine intervention expanding in full force. Your name has entered conversations in places you don't even know exist yet. Behind closed doors, a whisper of your strength has been passed around like sacred truth. Even those who once sided with your accuser have begun stepping away, unsure of where their loyalty stands now. Because they've seen what happened, they saw the case close, and they saw it wasn't by chance. Type Amen to get blessing 771. There is a ripple effect being created by your freedom. The more they tried to trap you, the more light they accidentally exposed around you. You didn't fight this battle with hands or harsh words, you fought it with silent endurance. People often misunderstand quiet strength. But now, they fear it. Because your silence carried the power to overturn every lie. The man who filed the case still watches you. He's wondering how you made it out untouched. What he doesn't know is that you were never alone, not for 1 second. Archangel Michael says, there were documents ready to be used against you, but mysteriously, they vanished. There were witnesses being trained to speak lies, but their tongues turned dry in fear. Even technology glitched when your name was entered into false records. Type Amen to get blessing 642. You were saved in ways you'll never fully comprehend. Your freedom came wrapped in delays, detours, and moments of unbearable stillness. But all of it was leading you here, to this moment where truth stands beside you, unshaken. Someone who once doubted you now dreams about you. Their spirit is restless because they know they misjudged your heart. They want to apologize but don't know how to face you now. The man who filed the case? He thought justice would bow to his pride. But instead, justice bowed to truth, and truth favored you. He now walks with the weight of a lie collapsing in on him. His reputation, once praised in certain circles, now slowly crumbles like sand. And the same system he tried to use against you, is circling him instead. Type Amen to get blessing 899. A secret audit has already begun. Not in your name, but in his. Every transaction, every contact, every favor he called in, is now being reviewed. Your victory isn't loud because real justice doesn't need noise. It thrives in clarity. And your name has now become too clear to be blurred by manipulation. Archangel Michael says, what you lost during this trial will be returned to you sevenfold. Peace, dignity, relationships, and recognition, they are all flowing back to you. You don't have to chase restoration, it's already in motion toward you. Type Amen to get blessing 500. You might start receiving messages from unexpected people. Some will say they always believed in you, don't be surprised. Some will try to reconnect, pretending they didn't abandon you, stay grounded. Let them come. Let them witness the rebirth of the soul they once cast aside. But remember, your elevation is not theirs to control. This case may be closed, but a new chapter has begun. It is one written with favor and sealed with divine protection. From this moment forward, even your enemies will be forced to acknowledge your truth. Type Amen to get blessing 822. Your life is not going back to what it was, it's moving higher. You've proven your worth without screaming, without begging, without losing your spirit. And that silent strength has caught the attention of forces even your accuser cannot battle. He is now being watched. Not for what he did to you, but for everything else he thought was hidden. You were just the beginning of his exposure. His lies were paper thin. And now, they are burning from the inside. Each truth you held quietly is now echoing in rooms he no longer dares to enter. Archangel Michael says, there is a reward stored for those who endure the weight of false accusation. You have earned that reward without compromise. And very soon, that reward will show up in physical, undeniable ways. Type Amen to get blessing 144. Your face will be remembered, not for what they accused you of, but for what you overcame. You are being written into the memory of this time as someone who survived intentional sabotage. The next time they speak of you, it will not be with judgment, but with awe. Someone from within the system admired your composure. That person is now becoming your silent supporter. They may not reveal themselves immediately, but they are pulling strings behind the scenes. There are more blessings than you know attached to your name. Your freedom has unlocked doors that were once bolted shut. And now, your story will inspire others who have been silenced unfairly. Type Amen to get blessing 284. The man who filed the case against you won't rest for a long time. Because peace doesn't exist for the dishonest. And he now realizes he touched something sacred when he tried to destroy you. You are walking in divine armor. That's why the case didn't stand, it couldn't. You were covered, protected, and already claimed by truth long before he made his move. You will never again have to prove yourself to people who doubted you. Your freedom is your proof. Your joy will be your final argument. X. Type Amen to get blessing 284. The man who filed the case against you won't rest for a long time. Because peace doesn't exist for the dishonest. And he now realizes he touched something sacred when he tried to destroy you. You are walking in divine armor. That's why the case didn't stand, it couldn't. You were covered, protected, and already claimed by truth long before he made his move. You will never again have to prove yourself to people who doubted you. Your freedom is your proof. Your joy will be your final argument. Archangel Michael says, let this moment be a signal to every storm that tries to form against you. You are not to be shaken. You are not to be moved by schemes dressed in legal disguise. Type Amen to get blessing 970. A major turnaround is coming in your favor. A celebration will be held soon, and though it may be quiet, it will be full of truth. You will look back and realize this wasn't just the closing of a case, it was the beginning of your divine unveiling. The next chapter of your life will come with ease. Not because the path is simple, but because you are stronger. You've already faced betrayal, injustice, and fear, and still, you shine. You are untouchable now. Marked by grace. And destined for an elevation that no enemy can block. Type Amen to get blessing 618. Your path is no longer clouded. What once felt like confusion is now turning into divine clarity. The chains that held you in fear have been broken by a hand you never saw, but always felt. People may try to re-enter your life pretending nothing happened. Be wise, not cruel. Let them speak, but don't forget how they moved when your light was dimmed. You were not rescued, you were chosen. Chosen to be an example of how truth always resurrects. Chosen to walk out of shame and into glory. The man who filed the case cannot stop the blessings coming your way. He tried to delay your peace, but instead accelerated your growth. He became the reason angels stepped in to defend you so fiercely. Type Amen to get blessing 447. You will receive unexpected invitations soon. Not just for celebration, but for purpose. People who once dismissed your worth will now seek your voice. This shift will feel strange at first. You'll question how quickly things are changing. But remember, you suffered in silence, now you will succeed in grace. Archangel Michael says, they tried to erase your story, but the ink of justice rewrote it brighter. They tried to bury your name, but the wind carried it higher. Now, your silence has become sacred ground that no one can trespass on. You will be rewarded publicly for the battles you won privately. And you will never have to shrink again. Not for anyone. Type Amen to get blessing 199. Your peace will now stretch wider than your pain ever did. The nights you cried will be replaced by mornings you laugh without restraint. And the strength you earned will never leave you again. He may try one last time to provoke you. Ignore it. The world now knows who was right, and who played dirty. Every step you take now echoes with divine authority. Even strangers will feel a shift when you walk into a room. You are no longer the accused, you are the anointed. You are not the same person who walked into that storm. You've become softer in heart but harder to break. You are the proof that light survives even the darkest legal war. Type Amen to get blessing 330. The file may be closed on paper. But in the spiritual realm, your file is marked protected in bold light. No one can open what God has sealed. Every voice that ever gossiped about your downfall will now carry your name with trembling lips. Every rumor that spread has turned into your redemption story. And every lie told will be the reason they fall in your absence. Archangel Michael says, stand tall now, not just because you're free, but because you were refined. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You have become something the enemy cannot copy, imitate, or manipulate. This is not just a win, it's a spiritual shift. You've stepped into a new timeline where your energy is unshakable. Where even attempts against you collapse before they're fully planned. Type Amen to get blessing 551. Your legacy begins today. This moment is more than a relief, it's a redirection. You were not meant to stay hidden behind that false accusation. Now, your destiny returns to you with fire and favor. You will start attracting people who carry honor, not ego. Your circle will become sacred, clean, and aligned. You will never again sit at tables where you are doubted. You will never again be cornered into silence. And you will never again doubt who walks with you. They closed the case with confusion. But the Spirit closed it with celebration. And now your story becomes a testimony that others will find strength in. Type Amen to get blessing 302. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them regret not standing by you when you needed them most. You have risen. Not just in victory, but in value. Your worth has tripled, and no one can price what you've earned through pain. You are royalty now in realms unseen. And that royalty is leaking into every part of your physical life. Money, peace, love, respect, it's all making its way to you now. And as for the man who filed the case, he will fade from influence. Because nothing built on lies lasts when truth has been crowned. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Your future holds no resemblance to your past. This storm didn't just pass, it changed your entire spiritual climate. Rainbows follow you now, not rain. You're not just healed, you're holy. Not just defended, you're destined. Not just redeemed, you're reigning. Let them come back to see what they lost. Let them wish they treated you better. But don't you ever lower your frequency to explain your survival. Archangel Michael says, this case was not your ending, it was your initiation. You are now entering a realm of influence you never imagined. And what was once delayed, is now rushing toward you with urgency. Doors will open not just for jobs, but for platforms. People will listen not just out of curiosity, but out of reverence. Because you carry the light of one who was tested and triumphed. Type Amen to get blessing 444. This moment is sacred. Feel it in your chest. A new peace is breathing inside you, one that can never be stolen again. No more accusations. No more false narratives. Only truth. Only growth. Only rising. You are powerful beyond measure now. And that power is wrapped in humility, which is why no force can stop it. You have been seen, heard, cleared, and crowned. And from now on, your life begins again. Not in shadow, but in full brilliant light. Let the heavens witness your ascension. Type Amen to get blessing 399. There's a calm in your life now, but don't confuse it with stillness. This calm is a sacred preparation. You are being positioned for roles that require divine silence before the storm of blessings arrives. You are not who you were when this began. Your identity has been restructured by truth, your energy purified by justice. Even your footsteps now echo louder than your voice once did. The man who tried to end you cannot outrun what's chasing him. His false accusations have become anchors dragging him toward public exposure. And while he hides, you rise, publicly, peacefully, powerfully. He may have filed the case, but heaven filed the final verdict. And your name is written in places even he cannot access. Where he tried to remove you, God replaced you with favor. Type Amen to get blessing 1110. You'll start receiving offers that don't match your current level, they exceed it. That's because your name has now become a spiritual signal of integrity. Doors are opening not because you knock, but because the energy around you demands access. There are people who once labeled you. Now they sit in rooms speaking of your grace. Your story has humbled the prideful and inspired the broken. Don't respond to gossip. It is beneath your elevation. Let your results speak, they roar louder than whispers ever could. Archangel Michael says, you've passed a test many fail. You didn't seek revenge, you allowed righteousness to speak on your behalf. And now, the reward is not just coming, it is unavoidable. Type Amen to get blessing 777. You may be contacted by someone you never thought would acknowledge you. Don't let pride harden you, listen with discernment. They are not coming to harm you, but to finally confess what they know. Their guilt has grown into anxiety. Your peace reminds them of what they lost when they chose lies. And the man behind the false case? He's now completely isolated by the same crowd that cheered him on. This is what divine justice looks like, quiet, thorough, irreversible. There are no headlines, but there's clarity. There are no trophies, but there is transformation. Every pain you endured during that season is now becoming fuel for your expansion. You will write, speak, teach, or lead, however the divine moves you. Because you weren't just freed, you were anointed. Type Amen to get blessing 588. You now wear the invisible crown of one who faced a storm and never cursed the rain. And that makes you unshakable. Even your presence brings chills to those who know what they did. The same people who doubted you are now watching from a distance. Their shame silences them. Because you were not only cleared, you were exalted. Don't look back. The path behind you no longer holds anything of value. Everything you lost is being returned in upgraded form. Archangel Michael says, expect a divine contact soon. Whether through dream, vision, message, or offer, it is your next confirmation. You've entered your promised realm of reward. Type Amen to get blessing 818. The world may never know the full depth of what you faced. But the universe has recorded every tear, every insult, every lonely moment. And now it repays, with multiplied peace and divine position. You will start feeling lighter without trying. Smiling without faking. Walking without watching your back. Because what tried to destroy you didn't know. You are surrounded. By light, by angels, by force. And from this moment forward, you are no longer the one who was accused. You are the one who was chosen despite. Your identity has been rewritten in permanent favor. Type Amen to get blessing 1477. Your story will inspire others who are still fighting battles in silence. They will look at you and say, if they came through it, so can I. And that ripple effect will reach further than you imagine. Heaven is not just watching you, it is walking with you. Your guides, protectors, ancestors, they celebrate every step you take now. You are fulfilling a legacy that began long before you were born. And the man who tried to take that from you, he's now haunted by your name. Not in fear, but in regret. Archangel Michael says, Heaven's court has declared it final. You are free, favored, and fiercely guided. There will be no more false trials, only real triumphs.